Captain's Log, Stardate 8417.1. After a brief layover at Starbase 21 to take on final supplies and receive our official orders to seek out new life and new civilizations from Admiral Cairo Reed, the Argo has begun her journey spinward and out of Federation territory. Although we remain days away from the end of Federation space, we have already come upon an uncharted system. Although never fully explored, an earlier survey mission nicknamed the system Abora, and long-range scans reveal that the third planet in the system is a tropical Class M world similar to Risa in terms of climate and terrain. While this begins our exploratory mission a bit closer to home than I expected, the opportunity to be the first to investigate Abora 3 is too much to resist, and I have ordered us to change course for a closer look. End log.
And with that, we'll begin on the bridge of the Argo. Currently, the Argo is placed in orbit over Abora 3. On the view screen, you can see a very lush world, though it seems that just by looking at it, that most of the planet is covered with water, with small continents sporadically grazing the area.
Number one, prepare a full spread of atmospheric probes. Let's get a closer look. Standard planetary search pattern.
Aye, sir. Readying probes.
Give me control security assisted by the ship's weapons plus security difficulty of 1.
So Captain, what did you scratch up for us to check out this time?
What they students on Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy, always called a paradise planet, Doctor. Class M, largely tropical. Reminds me a bit of Risa, although wetter.
Well, Risa
from here anyway, it looks
wet.
gorgeous.
It's strange. I find I have a lot of free time now that I don't have to monitor my staff as close.
That is strange. Mr. Tanners, commence standard sensor sweep as we go through our orbit. Coordinate with Lieutenants Haran and West to get an orbital pattern so we can get all parts of the planet.
Is there anything specifically are we looking for? Just anything? Or is there, like...
Strange new world, Mr. Tanners. Strange new world.
Understood.
Martel, are you able to get the rollout for control plus security?
Yeah, computer's being slow. It's out, but it's slow. There's like 3 different roles. My computer's being slow.
Does someone have the ship?
I'll get the ship.
Oh.
Got it.
Never mind, the ship is already done.
Trying to give you guys a chance to get some momentum.
Say that's nice, but that means we'll need it.
Is the GM being nice today, or is it just preparing ourselves for a really bad time?
The latter, I fear.
I can neither confirm nor deny your great enthusiasm for today's session. 2 momentum has been gained as probes begin their outerward orbit and descent to give you guys a greater scanning reach for doing the planetary survey, in which this will be an extended task. Mr. Tanner's giving me reason plus science, assisted by the ship's sensors plus science. Difficulty of 3. The work track is going to be 12, magnitude of 3 with the resistance of 1.
This is an extended task.
Yes, this is an extended task.
What was Martel's difficulty?
1, so you have 2 momentum.
Cool.
It was 3.
Yes, your difficulty is 3.
Can I use sensor operations as focus?
Yes.
And we do have 2 momentum if you want to grab some of those.
I don't see the moment. Oh, there it is. All right, I'll spend 1 threat for 3 dice because I just want to save that momentum. I'm sorry, reason plus science?
Yes, reason plus science.
Okay.
Two momentum has been gained. Give me 6 challenge dice, please. Well, roll 6 challenge dice.
Okay.
That's right. We got that higher science score. That's right.
Sensors are average.
Yeah, science is not.
Currently there's 2 work being done. You can spend a momentum to reroll 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'll spend some momentum to reroll that.
Total of 3 work being done. You need 2 more work for a breakthrough.
If you spend what? 1 for resistance, we'll bring it up to 4. Is that right?
Yes, I'll bring it up to 4, but also spending momentum for 1 extra work will bring it up to 4 as well.
Yep. So I mean, you can just spend 2 momentum to bring it up to 5 for a breakthrough.
All right. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do that then.
Okay.
All right, so you're down currently to 1 total momentum. All right, same roll, reason plus science, but the difficulty is now 2.
Okay. Spend 1 threat for 3 dice.
It's a little early to start giving me threat there, man.
Well.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't know how much threat you have though, and I just want to save that momentum.
Oh, real quick before you roll 1 challenge dice. Real quick.
Oh.
You're on tap potential.
And he starts with 8 threat.
Okay.
So now he's at 10.
This is true. I'm at 10. No extra momentum from that for untapped potential.
Dang, my challenge dice roll's been bad. Jeez.
Yeah, but you're doing real well with the task rolls.
6 challenge dice, and you get 2 momentum from that roll.
I mean, for once, the ship is actually doing something.
Don't make the ship angry.
Try being on an NX class.
I've never played a game on a NX.
Starts Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to that. Looks like
that is currently 6 work being done. That puts you at a total of 11 work. Bringing you to a total of 2 breakthroughs and track goes down to 1. You have 1 work left to complete the work track. You can spend a momentum and fill the work track, which will finish the extended task.
And untap potential.
And roll one challenge dice too, by the way. So yes, do you wish to roll again at difficulty 1, or do you want to spend a momentum to finish the work track, which will complete the extended task?
I'll just roll. I'll keep the momentum.
All right, it is reason plus medicine or reason plus science. This is by the ship's sensors plus science, difficulty of 1.
Okay. Just roll the 2 dice. Fingers crossed.
I believe you're now capped. Give me 6 challenge dice. You only need 2 to complete. And there is no untapped potential roll here because you did not spend momentum or threat. That will do it. I'll send you the information.
Well, Doctor, assuming everything checks out from our probes, would you like to join the away team? Stretch your legs in a new world?
Of course, although a word of caution, new world means new pathogens. Always be careful.
No, try not to get bit.
I'm just rereading it. Sir, this planet is nicknamed Abora by our own science teams. It is a tropical world made up of 93% water, with an iron core, 76% nitrogen, 23% oxygen, 7% argon, and 0.2% water vapor, and 0.1% of other gases. All life forms on the planet appear to be carbon-based, with what appears to be a humanoid culture on several of the small continents. With primitive sailing technology, I would advise that the Prime Directive applies here.
Agreed. Were you able to get any detailed scans of their settlements or towns, villages, cities?
I can scan for it. Is that like another roll or?
Well, Doctor, looks like we'll have to postpone the walk.
Well, not necessarily. I'm sure there's some place that's out of the way that might not be any danger of running into anyone.
That sounds like some very famous final log entries I've read before.
We could find a secluded island, perhaps take a 3-hour tour.
3-hour tour, Doctor?
Just get to know the layout of the area, get a sampling of local plants and what have you.
Mm. Unfortunately, that's going to be up to the. It's going to be up to Starfleet if they want to send a specialized team and go down and take observations. Number one, you'd better get some warning beacons prepared to place in system to warn off other ships. Standard prime directive warnings.
There, some of the continents are not inhabited, however. But there are several of the continents several of the continents are inhabited, but there are some that are not. But the continents that are inhabited appears to have grass huts as their means of building structures.
Well, as lovely as the place seems, we've all just come off of a little bit of shore leave recently, and if they're already seafarers, there's no telling where they might be or get to with or without settlement, particularly if they're at the level of woven huts. So I think we'll complete our surveys of the planet and system, place the warning buoys, and be on our way.
Be interesting to see what comes of this in 2,000 years or so.
And it would be fun to still be around and see how these people develop. Mr. Tanner, make sure you adjust the altitude and flight path of our probes to make sure they are less likely to be seen from the ground.
Aye, sir. Shall I place them in high altitude?
Your discretion. Get as detailed a scans as you can. Let's just not add anything to their local legends.
Of course, sir. We don't want the Argo to appear on their transcripts of a magical flying star appearing on their in their system.
Religions have been started for less.
Once you've got the data, start correlating it and preparing it to be transmitted back to Starfleet Command. They'll want as much as we can give them so they can determine whether they want to investigate more closely.
Scene change. Go down one momentum. As you go, you essentially do all the things. You prepare a warning beacon for when you leave the system. As you finish gathering data, and you kind of your sensors peer and look, from a distance on the planet, you notice that they appear almost, very tribal-like in a way, similar to probably Hawaiians on Earth during, their earlier days, and maybe even closer to Native Americans and the more intercontinent areas. They seem very nomadic in nature, but for the most part, they kind of travel at the will of the wind, it seems.
Sir, it appears these people here seem to be nomadic. Um,
Well, the Polynesian peoples on Earth, with their outrigger canoes, were able to travel tens of thousands of miles over open sea, and settle a wide array of islands.
Astonishing they could do that with such crude instruments and basically some sticks sewn together.
Well,
Captain, do I have permission to scan for? Actually, no. I was like, GM, the scans I did earlier would include like unusual energy sources.
Yeah, but there are none present. There's no form of advanced technology on the planet. Other than, the occasional, fire that they're starting in the village. I mean, as I describe it, is what you see.
Okay.
Well, never underestimate sailing by the stars, Doctor. A tall ship and a star to sail her by.
Wait, that's not how we fly?
I think Lieutenant Haran may have a few more navigational tools at her disposal than our ancestors. Of course, for all I know, she could be sneaking out to the observation deck with a sextant and a stopwatch.
To be honest, I would feel more comfortable if she was.
Why, Doctor, I never pictured you as a primitivist.
I've never been a big fan of all this machinery. It causes people to get lazy and rely on it far too much.
Well, and I fondly pat my command chair. All of this machinery is what's going to let us go beyond where anyone's ever been. And it's what got us here to see these people on this planet for the very first time.
Oh, I won't deny that it has its uses. I just wish that societies wouldn't rely on it quite so much for their everyday comforts.
I've seen the clothing you wear off duty, Doctor. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly homespun.
True. I do like to make a statement. But a statement with clothing and personality versus strictly technology. And don't even get me started about the transporters.
Hmm. I have a sneaking suspicion you may have taken a course or two from Leonard McCoy in your day.
Well, he had some points. It does literally rip our atoms apart, turn it into energy, and somehow throws it all back together again with only the slightest error causing horrendous deaths.
Don't even mention that, Doctor. As you know, I really hate transporters.
Sounds like good self-preservation to me.
I was involved in a transporter accident some time ago, before I transferred here to Argo. It wasn't a very pleasant experience.
Transporter accidents can be nasty. I'm glad that you survived in one piece, Lieutenant Tanners.
So I'm glad I did, but it's unfortunate that two of the people in my away team weren't so lucky.
Well, the Excelsior has the most advanced and backed up transporter system available to Starfleet, and you can bet your life that Lieutenant Anders keeps everything in tip-top shape. He's one of the best transporter chiefs I've ever seen.
Well, that remains to be seen, sir. I really do not want to be in a transporter.
Sorry to interrupt, gentlemen, but it appears that I'm receiving a distress signal. It's very faint, but it is definitely Starfleet in origin, Captain.
Can you triangulate?
Attempting to do so now. She needs to give a reason plus engineering assisted by the ship's communications plus engineering difficulty of 2.
One of you guys want to grab Mira? I'll do the ship.
You got her.
I'll grab Mira.
Okay.
What was again?
Reason plus engineering assisted by the ship's communications plus engineering difficulty of 2.
Difficulty. Okay, I'll spend 1 momentum for 3 dice. Does she have a focus for this?
She
Yep.
does.
Hey.
Said you're spending 1 momentum.
She has cautious engineering, so you can re-roll one of the zeros.
Yeah, but I think I'll wait on that till the. Or well, I guess I'll just re-roll it then.
And then you also need to roll 1 challenge dice too. She has untapped potential.
I forget. Is it required that you roll it?
It is required that you roll it if you buy a dice. So either by spending determination or threat or momentum, whether it's 1 or 6 dice, you roll 1 challenge dice. It's part of the talent, so that I usually forget.
Yep. I just couldn't remember if you could choose to do it or not.
It's part of the talent. You technically should, but I forget to remind players. So, yes, Captain. It appears the distress signal is coming from 35 light years away. System's called Tenonium. What I can make out, it's coming from the USS Juno.
USS Juno? Yeoman Kumalo. What can you find on the Juno?
Reason con difficulty 2, assisted by the ship's computers plus con.
Might want to grab Kumalo. And you may be able to give her something since I don't think she's fully statted.
Kumalo?
Yeah, she's under, she's the very bottom under miscellaneous. Israel Kumalo.
Ah, I was here.
Let someone else roll it, Daenerys.
What's the roll?
Reason con difficulty 2, assisted by the ship's computers con.
Okay. You said I could add a focus.
Focus or whatever.
All right.
Whatever she's not statted out at.
Well, she has 3 focuses right now. How many can they have?
6, 4 talents, 4 values. 1 more discipline, 1 more attribute. If they haven't been upgraded in those departments yet.
Out of curiosity, would bureaucracy work for this?
No.
Or protocol?
No.
Okay. What would be acceptable focus?
Starship recognition or history. Or research.
Research, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Starship research or just research plain?
Just research plane or starship recognition or there's a third.
I'll go with starship recognition. So I'll go ahead and roll, and then I'll put that in here in just a minute. Of course.
Is the roll going to stand? Because it was a difficulty 2.
She does have a value.
Okay. Could use the value to re-roll. Getting it right matters.
I will take that.
Okay. Can you use momentum in re-rolls, or is it set?
It's set. Like, so you would have to
Okay.
buy a dice in order to use Cautious Con.
Okay. You can't do that with a re-roll, right?
You can't do that with a reroll.
Okay. So here we go. Yep. Oh well.
She has technical expertise,
Yeah.
and the ship can be rerolled. Just got it.
All right. Just barely made it.
I will send you the information so you can roleplay it out. Give me a sec.
Lots of typing.
Is that a bad sign or a good sign? I don't know.
Now, I think the rule is if he doesn't finish his typing in 15 minutes, we're legally allowed to leave.
That's not true. Not for role-playing games, not for classes in college.
Classes of college. Classes of college, yeah. Well,
I mean, you're allowed to leave a class in college whenever you want. You may not get participation or participation grade for that day, but you know.
But over at my school, though, if the professor, for some reason, doesn't show up 15 minutes after the class starts, students are.
Is that an actual part of the handbook, or is that just something you've heard?
That was actually part of the handbook, actually.
Huh. That's unusual, because that's been a rumor at colleges forever, but most of the time it is actually not true. Although, again, you can leave anytime you want, but
Fair point. And hey, it's your money.
yeah. So before we started playing, while I was eating dinner, I watched the first little bit of Space Seed. Had one of my favorite Bones moments when Khan wakes up and he's got like a scalpel on him and he's half choking him with his hand, and Bones goes, "Well, either choke me or cut my throat. Make up your mind."
Is a good one.
Where am I? You're in bed, holding a knife to your doctor's throat. I would suggest you cut the carotid right under the left earlobe.
He did have some great lines.
I love Bones. Ha.
All right, give me a minute, guys. I just got a book. Oh, sir, the Juno. That's a fascinating one. About 15 years ago, the Juno was sent out towards Stolian space with Admiral Nora West to investigate the planetary system and possible adverse effects of this region. The space similar to what the USS Defiant and USS Enterprise encountered. The USS Juno was nearly lost. With only the saucer section surviving. Reports show that Admiral West and some of the crew gave their lives to save most of the crew by doing an emergency saucer separation, according to reports. I don't even know if that's ever been done before. The star drive section and the planet disappeared to what Starfleet believes something similar to what happened to the Defiant. further exploration efforts in the region have been halted. The crew that survived were just actually recovered from the Tholians, who have apparently been holding them in custody for several decades.
Sorry, taking notes.
Really?
The Defiant ship disappeared, didn't it? Ensign Kamala, pull everything you can about the Defiant, and you said the Enterprise was involved in a mission in this region as well, and this this space phenomenon that the Juno was sent to investigate. In the meantime, Mira, transfer those the coordinates of the distress signal to Lieutenant Haran. Haran, get us a direct course towards it. Lieutenant West, let's get there as quick as we can. Alternate warp 14 for as long as safe, with warp 11 for however long needed for a cool down. Chief Loxon, we're going to be pushing the engines and your engineering teams hard. Please inform Lieutenant Anders.
I was looking forward to a game where Hardman would become chief engineer. Looks like it didn't happen.
Lieutenant West, once you've got the course, engage maximum warp.
Haran passes the coordinates over and kind of turns. It will take us 7 days to reach there, Captain.
That's with alternating warp 14 with warp 11?
Yes, Captain. Average speed of warp factor 12.5.
Understood. Are there any closer Starfleet vessels?
I can look for him, sir.
Very well.
Mirror kind of turns like the closest vessel to us is the Jaeger, Captain, and she's heading out towards Rim World or Rim side.
Understood. Looks like we're closest. We'll just have to do our best and see what we see when we get there. See it done, Lieutenant West.
Scene change. And Captain, can you read the supplemental log, please?
Captain's log, supplemental. Stardate 8417.2. Having received a scrambled Federation distress call, the Argo is proceeding at maximum warp towards an uncharted planet near the border of Tholian space. While this area is unclaimed by either the Federation or the Tholians, the latter are known to have taken an interest in the region. The USS Defiant was lost in this area over 20 years ago in an incident involving a spatial anomaly that almost resulted in the loss of Captain James Kirk and the USS Enterprise as well. Furthermore, after the Defiant incident, Starfleet dispatched the USS Juno, commanded by Admiral Nora West, to investigate reports of adverse effects on the fabric of space-time in the region that were potentially related to the anomaly encountered by the Enterprise. During this mission, the Juno was nearly lost above a planet called Teneum. Admiral West saved most of her crew by staying behind in the engineering section to perform an emergency saucer separation. But shortly afterward, both the planet Teneum and the Juno's secondary hull and star drive section disappeared into an anomaly similar to the one that swallowed the Defiant. West was listed as missing, but after several years was declared killed in the line of duty. As might be imagined, my flight controller, Lieutenant Katie West, Admiral West's great-granddaughter, is both excited and deeply concerned about this mysterious distress signal and our diversion to investigate it. On a personal note, I share her emotions. Then Lieutenant Commander Spock's report on the anomaly encountered by the Enterprise theorized that Captain Kirk and the Defiant were pulled into a parallel dimension that was experiencing regular periods of interphase with our own. It was during one of these intervals that Captain Kirk was recovered. The logs of the Enterprise's Chief Medical Officer, Leonard McCoy, also warned that the spatio-dimensional anomaly causes progressive damage to humanoid nervous systems, resulting in heightened aggression, madness, and death. McCoy was able to develop a treatment for the effects based on, believe it or not, a Klingon nerve agent called Theragen. In case we run into a similar anomaly, I've asked Dr. Shallot and the Argo's medical staff to either have sufficient quantities of McCoy's serum available or to find something that will work as well or better if they can. There is a part of me that hopes, irrationally, that we may find Nora, Admiral West, and the Juno's crew alive, somehow transported through time and space 20 years to our present. However, the Enterprise also reported that the Defiant's crew died hard, with their hands at one another's throats, driven to homicidal rage by the anomaly's effects on their nervous systems. It is also just as likely that the distress signal is far more mundane and issues from a long-haul freighter or survey vessel. Only time will tell, and time, as always in such circumstances, seems to move at a snail's pace. End log.
You currently have 7 days until you reach the planet. During this time, you guys can feel free to prepare or look up any information on the planet or even about what Starfleet has on the records of the Juno crew. At least the survivors.
I'll look to the box. Did your dogs bark there?
Yes, they're upset. My girlfriend just left.
Anyway, yeah, I will look into a bit more detailed information on the Juno and the planet.
And Doctor will want to be prepared to inoculate the crew if we are dealing with that same kind of spatial anomaly. Suggest you and your medical team start researching and see what you can come up with.
Indeed, I'll get down there and see what the Enterprise's doctor had to say about the matter.
Lieutenant Mira?
Yes, Captain.
Since we're going to be so close to the Tholian border, let's not show up by surprise. See if you can't contact the Tholian government and let them know, make them aware that we are coming to the area in answer to a distress signal. Also inform Starfleet Command.
Yes, Captain.
Were you able to unscramble the distress signal at all?
It's fairly faint still, sir, but from what it appears, it's the general automated distress signal.
Understood. Lieutenant West, would you join me in my ready room? Number 1, you have the bridge.
Aye, sir.
Coffee?
Thank you, sir. Yes, please. Sorry.
No, get her some coffee. Please, have a seat. I imagine this is a bit of an emotional ride for you. As I recall, you have always held your great-grandmother in high esteem. As well you should.
I only knew her as a child, but she was definitely my idol.
Well, if nothing else, we may be able to find out exactly what happened to her and some of the other of the Juno's crew.
I hope so, but 15 years is a long time.
True, but there's some strange things in the universe, and this certainly would not be the first time that the Argo has experienced some interesting effects with both space and time. If this is the Juno and the planet Taneum, this will be the first time that either has been heard of in 15 years.
I mean, planets usually just don't disappear.
Neither do starships, but apparently this region of space is known for it. The Defiant, Captain Kirk's experience with this interphase of dimensions, and then Taneum and the Juno about 5 years later. I don't know exactly what we're going to find, but since it does involve a member of your family, I just wanted to check in with you and make sure that you're all right and potentially prepared for whatever. I don't know. I know that's meaningless in this sense. Should you need to talk, I am always here. Or if you'd be more comfortable with Dr. Avalop in sickbay, despite her Vulcanness, I'm given to understand she's quite a sympathetic ear.
Or Vulcan.
Hmm.
I've had 15 years of grieving already, knowing the worst, and then when they just recently pronounced her dead. But I just don't want to get my hopes up, Captain.
Understood. And Haggard kind of chews as if he's trying to. He kind of pauses as if he's trying to decide whether to say something or not. On the off chance, I suppose you deserve to know that I once met your great-grandmother in some very unusual circumstances. Circumstances that I believe only myself and Lieutenant and Commander von Wartburg actually still remember.
Sir, I don't follow. I mean, you met her at the academy? I mean, she was...
About a year ago, the Argo was exploring not too far from this region of space when we detected a derelict vessel. Upon approaching, we discovered it was the USS Pioneer. We boarded the ship, which was empty of crew, no atmosphere, no life supports, no bodies. There was some sort of alien probe aboard, which we removed and brought aboard the Argo along with the logs of the Pioneer. Upon examining the probe further, myself, senior officers, and the entire crew were transported into a facsimile of 20th century, mid 20th century Earth. We all remembered exactly who we were, but everyone around us acted as if we were other people. Some of the people there turned out to be the crew of the Pioneer, including, at the time, Commander Nora West, the Pioneer's XO. She couldn't have been too much older than you are now. It turned out that this entire place was a kind of alien zoo. The 1950s environment was just that, an environment where this species would come to view humans in their quote-unquote natural habitat. Commander West, Nora, told me that the crew had been put through several different scenarios from largely American history, including the American Civil War, and that members of the crew, including the captain, had been traumatized repeatedly, some of them literally killed and then brought back in a whole different scenario. We managed to confront the alien zookeeper, for lack of a better term, as well as present him with evidence that some of his own people were abusing the exhibits, if you will, for their own perverse pleasures, and were released, the Argo's crew, back to our own time with no memory of the events, and presumably the Pioneer's crew to their own time with no memory of events, though from what I've read since my memories were restored to me, the captain of the Pioneer had suffered so much trauma during his captivity that it did not, that simply wiping the memories was not enough to prevent his eventual decline, and to the point where your great-grandmother was forced to relieve him of command. I don't know what we're going to meet at this Teneum, but when you first came on board, when I first got my memories back, it was quite a shock seeing you. You look very much like your great-grandmother did, as I said, only a few years older than you when I first met her. She was a remarkable woman. But if we should run into her, she may well recognize me, and I did not want you to be taken by surprise. That experience is also why well, to be honest, I'm somewhat hopeful that maybe, just maybe, she has survived and is still there. Maybe I'm getting my hopes up for nothing. But if she is, and she does recognize me, I figured it might be best to preempt your inevitable questions by telling you exactly what happened. Again, there's no record of this because besides myself and Commander von Wartburg, no one remembers it. He only did through the work of that telepathic person that we had on board not too long ago. You remember when we had the encounter with that race called the Dark Ones, when she restored when she removed whatever mental blocks he was suffering under, he remembered that as well as some other things. Whereas my own memories were returned to me, or I undid whatever blocks during the brief time I was in a coma after we ran into Cybok not long ago. I know this is a lot to process.
It is. Seems like you and my great grandmother shared quite a time together. I was half expecting you to say that you're my great great grandfather, great grandfather. But
Well, let's just say that I had enough trouble learning how to drive a stick shift, which is a type of gas-powered automobile. That was my major activity during the 1950s that I experienced. But insofar as I know, you and I are not related.
no offense, sir, but that's kind of a relief.
I understand. So anyway, that's a lot to lay on you, and this has got to be a very tense situation. So if you need to talk, whether it be to me or to Avalop, do so. You're the best starship driver I've got, and I need you operating at peak performance, regardless of whether we find your great grandmother or not.
Thank you, sir.
Carry on, Lieutenant.
She kind of stops and then turns. You said she looked a lot like me when you met her?
Yes. Again, she couldn't have been too much older than you, although a full commander, so maybe 5-10 years older. But yes, she looked quite a bit alike.
Admiral Katie West has a nice ring to it.
Well, I'd be honored to serve under you in such a case, Admiral. In the meantime, keep us on course.
Will do, sir. I'll see you on the bridge.
And Haggard will turn to look out his porthole and thoughtfully sip his coffee.
Oh, meanwhile in sickbay, the doctor is doing some research.
Yes.
So, doctor, you're working up preparing to help the crew for the effects of the interphase.
Yes.
Give me reason medicine, difficulty of 2, assisted by the ship's computers plus medicine.
Okay, can I use research as a focus?
Yeah, that will apply here.
I'll take 1 momentum for the extra die. And cautious med. And I'll re-roll the 1. Agro, do you have the ship, or do you want me to grab it?
Sorry. Computers medicine.
You're currently capped with 1 float. So yes, Doctor, you're able to look up and find that you have all the capable materials on board the ship to synthesize Dr. McCoy's concoction.
Very well. I will begin synthesizing the formula to prepare inoculations.
Are you going to be doing this yourself, or are you going to have your medical teams do that for you?
I will be having my medical teams because Dr. Sheldon loves to delegate.
Very well. There really is no need for a roll because you have essentially the ship advantage for that. So, yes, it will take you 4 days to get enough of the inoculations made for the entire crew.
Very well. I'll go
Plus-
to the nearest comm panel and relay this information to the bridge to let them know that it's going to take about 4 days to have enough inoculations for the entire crew.
Excellent news, Doctor. Make sure you have some over and above the required amounts, just in case. I suppose that it's at least theoretically possible that some of the Juno's missing crew might still be aboard if this is actually coming from their star drive section. Unlikely, based upon what happened to the crew of the Defiant and what affected the Enterprise crew, but still, we may need some to administer in an emergency situation.
Should we plan on the entire crew or just remnants?
I will send you down. We have a list of the crew that made it out on the saucer section, which was the majority. And we know that Admiral West stayed behind, and we have the list of the crew who were assigned and did not make it out. So that can give you some idea of the numbers.
Very well. I will attempt to accommodate, but obviously significantly increasing the numbers of product will take longer.
We have 7 days until we're on site, and Doctor will need to keep an eye out for the beginnings of any of these effects. I'll leave that up to you and your team, as well as I want you and Lieutenant Teniers to keep in close contact. As soon as he detects any kind of similar spatio-dimensional anomalies that as the Enterprise encountered, the two of you will need to work together to work out when and how to inoculate the crew.
I'll get it done, Captain.
Thank you, Doctor.
Sick bay out.
For a momentum, Doctor, I'll answer the question for you on how much extra you'll need.
Well, we have a float, don't we?
That goes away at the end of the task.
Ah, okay.
I spent it.
Very well. How much do we need?
54.
Okay, and how long will that take my minions to produce?
Half a day. Or
Alrighty.
less. It's really like you're doing like 500 some odd doses, so you're doing over 100 doses a day, essentially. So,
All right. It's good news.
And we need to see what happened to our science officer.
And Haggard on the bridge will turn to Martel. Commander Martel will need to take the Juno's, be prepared to take the Juno's star drive section under tow, potentially. See if you can't work out how we'll need to rig the ship for such an operation. GM, I'm assuming the Juno was a Connie.
Yes, it was an older style Connie.
Yeah.
Aye, sir. I believe our tractor beam should be able to cover it.
Excellent. Mira, any luck contacting the Tholian government?
No, sir, but I relayed the message back to Starfleet Command, and they said they'll get a hold of the diplomatic corps. Will try to begin negotiations with the Tholians if it comes arise.
Excellent. Good work.
So yeah, to look up information on the planet is going to be a reason plus science system by the ship's computers plus science, because you're digging up information on the databanks, especially from the recovered logs from the Juno. This will be a difficulty of 2.
Tanner's back. I stepped away for a sec.
Yeah, I'm back.
Good timing. So, reason plus science, system of the ship computers plus science to look up information on planet.
On which?
The planet you're heading to.
Tanam.
Okay. What was the difficulty?
It is 2.
I'll spend 1 momentum for the 3 dice. I can take advantage of that on potential, or the task potential. Blast. Can I re-roll that 0? Or wait, no, I can't because I've already succeeded.
Do you have cautious science? Don't believe so.
I don't think so. Wait, no, I have collaboration science. The difficulty was 2, right?
Yes, but for untapped potential, you'll need give me 1 challenge dice, please. No momentum gained.
Of course, the ship would fail. Sir, or wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm just getting this information. Sir, I'm reading some strange gravimetric eddies. Oh, so, I'm sorry, Jim. What do you mean by eddies? Was that just
So these are the scans that the Juno picked up. These are from their logs and their sensor readers. The Argo is nowhere near the actual planet yet.
Sir, according to the Juno's logs, there are some strange gravimetric anomalies on board. And is that right? Am I reading that right? Gian? Okay, cool. There are some gravimetric anomalies on board and an unknown radiation cloud around the planet. The planet does have rings around it and is often bombarded by meteors from the rings. Perhaps the meteors have something to do with this? The planet is a Class 7 planet, however, and is made up of approximately 60% water and rich with nitrogen atmosphere.
So you're saying there were strange gravimetric anomalies aboard the Juno?
Yes, sir.
No.
No?
Juno showed strange electromagnetic eddies and an unknown radiation cloud around the planet.
Oh, okay. Around the planet, sir. Sorry.
Did was the Juno able to map the eddies?
No, I'm afraid not.
And GM, I'm assuming that we've pulled all the logs and relevant data points and given them whoever, the McCoy stuff to Shallot, Spock stuff to Tanners, and whatever else.
The eddies appear to be random, sir.
Number one, any idea on how we might deal with such a phenomenon?
Random spatial distortions, unless I have more information, I have no idea right now, sir.
What were the effects of these gravimetric eddies, Tanners?
I'm sorry?
What were the effects of the gravimetric eddies, if the Juno ran into any of them? Was this gravity fluctuations? What?
It appeared that the ship was caught in one of them, and it nearly ripped the ship apart. I would advise caution when we approach.
Understood. Tanners, work with the XO. See if the two of you can A, calibrate our sensors to be able to detect these things, and B, come up with some mechanism to protect the ship, whether that's through modulating the deflector shields or what have you.
I see. I guess I'll just walk over to the first officer. I'll hand him the data I've gathered to him.
Looks like, huh? I want to make sure I'm gonna say this correctly, GM. We're gonna have to make adjustments to the ship's sensor array in order to detect these, or no?
I'm gonna give you both one additional information.
Okay.
Apparently, the Juno attempted to navigate around the eddies by going through the rings of the planet, since the gravimetric whirlpool could be seen in the rings.
Smart.
Mark one eyeball, sir.
Is it possible that fluctuations in this radiation field that Juno spoke of could also serve as an early warning device against the eddies?
I don't know about that, sir. There's not enough information to draw a conclusion to that effect.
Understood.
GM, was I able to gather any ways how the Juno tried to compensate for the gravimetric readings with their shields? Like, what frequency were they able to change their shields to?
They didn't.
They didn't. Okay. Did they have their shields raised?
Yes, they had their shields raised, but the gravimetric, you get thinking like they're like. So I mean, eddies, they're like little like micros. They're more akin to micro black holes that they're forming in and out randomly, and then disappearing. Essentially, they form literally a pothole in space, and then they disappear.
Commander, it appears that the standard Starfleet shield frequency clearly won't work.
That they won't, and there's not really any good rotational frequency for it because, as you know, we're dealing with gravity here. So,
Is there any modifications we can do to the deflector dish to perhaps try to emit a shield that could possibly resist it? Like making modifications to the shield itself?
I'm thinking. I don't know how well that would work. Thinking something of like maybe an anti-graviton pulse.
Are you like suggesting to emit one from the deflector?
Yeah. Maybe we can try and cancel out some of the gravitational eddies with that. Or at least counter their effect on the ship. I should be able to make a better determination once we're on site at the planet. But for now, I can only deal in theories.
Is there a way how we can test some of these theories out here? That way we're a little bit further away and safer from these eddies.
Not unless you just so happen to have a gravitational eddy somewhere nearby that we can just test it on. Probably wind up having to test it at the edge of the planetary system.
Yeah, but when surely we can run some kind of simulations.
That I can do, sir. Computer
Running
simulations
in blind's what got the Juno destroyed.
Agreed. Computer simulations I can run, but how it'll work in the real world, there's no guarantee until we actually do it.
Understood. But see if you can't find us a solution before we absolutely need it.
I'll try, sir.
So, what's the idea you're going with?
Basically trying to counter the gravitational eddies with an anti-graviton pulse emitted from the ship's deflector array. At least that's the basic idea I've got right now. Run some computer simulations, see how it works.
Insight science, difficulty of 1, assisted by the ship's computers plus science.
Okay, good. Do I get a focus on computers?
No, this is like more unified field theory.
Okay.
Ship assist is computer science, you said?
Yes.
And we have a free reroll due to my technical expertise. I will take 1 momentum.
Want me to re-roll the ship?
Sure.
2 momentum gained.
Did I lose connection for a minute?
No, I think the GM's just typing stuff to Martel.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
And Lieutenant Tanners, I want you to go through Captain Spock's logs for the Enterprise of that period, as well as those that were recovered with the Juno. You should see what kind of correlations you can make between the spatial anomaly faced by the Enterprise and Defiant and whatever happened with the Juno. See what similarities there are if we're even dealing with the same thing, if you can tell. As I recall, Captain Spock is noted for his thoroughness, so hopefully he will have left you an excellent trail of breadcrumbs to follow.
Did they experience the same thing in the same area?
Well, the Juno was sent to investigate what Starfleet believed to be similar anomalies in this area to those that had taken the Defiant and that the Enterprise had encountered. So I'm wondering if there's any correlation or if this was the same type of phenomena, particularly since both the Juno's secondary hull and the entire planet seems to have disappeared in a manner similar to the Defiant.
I see. I'll look into the logs from Mr. Spock and the Enterprise, as well as Juno.
Well, you hear Martel pipe up over in his corner. That's not gonna work.
Problems number one?
Yeah, big problems.
Enlighten me.
Destruction of the Argo problems using the method I've just explained.
Recommend a different method.
Agreed. Let's try this. Okay, I don't have enough data to make that a feasible simulation right now. I don't know, Captain. For one simulation, I have enough data, which results in the destruction of the Argo. For another, I don't have enough data. It's confusing right now, sir.
Well, we've most of a week, number one. Keep at it and get the engineering teams on it. See what you can come up with.
I will, sir. And you just see Martel, like, put his hands on his head like he's got a bit of a headache coming on.
Tanners, if we're not able to necessarily defend against it, then detecting these things as quickly and accurately as possible is going to be our best means. I want you and the science teams on that.
Understood, sir. I'm currently still reading the logs from both ships.
Multitask, Lieutenant. Multitask.
Sir.
Martel, give me a reason plus engineering difficulty of 2.
Okay. Reason engineering, difficulty of 2. I'm guessing I'm not assisted by the ship's computers computers engineering.
This is more like an afterthought.
Okay. Let's do. You know what? I don't know if I'll get this chance again. Could I just spend my determination on nothing is impossible?
Sure.
Ah, awesome. So first I'm going to just roll 2 flat die. And then, because I have veteran, I'm going to roll 1 challenge die. Oh, come on. Great. Give it a minute to come through. Wait. Huh. I don't know why I didn't think of this before.
GM, can I scan for recent Tholian activity in the area?
We're not there yet.
I will pull you guys to the map so you can see where you're going. And yes, I did some tweaking to the map.
There has been recent Tholian activity in the area?
You're not anywhere near close to the border. In terms for like monitoring, Starfleet does not monitor the Tholian border.
Is there any information I can gather on Tholian ships encountered by Federation vessels in the past?
Everything from the Memory Alpha article I sent you is what you have.
And we do know that the Tholians have taken interest in this region in the past, even though it's not claimed by either side. Were you able to find out if any of the anomalies described by the Juno and the Enterprise seem to line up in any way?
So far, yes, sir. Wait, I'll say.
Well, you did do some tweaking to the map. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. It appears to be, they appear to be very similar. But I would, however, though, what happened to the Defiant? The Defiant apparently disappeared and was transferred to a different universe. I would perhaps try to advise, make sure something like that doesn't happen to us or the Juno.
Is it possible from the readings that the Juno's saucer section was able to take that the same kind of thing happened to the Juno's secondary hull and the planet Taneum?
It is believed that is what happened. It appears that the Tholians may possibly might have something to do with this, sir. according to the Enterprise's report about this, Tholian ships use engines in fractured space, which disrupts the timing of interfaces with that different universe, so to speak.
Is that something peculiar to Tholian engines, or is that something we may need to be wary of ourselves with the Argo?
It might just be Tholian engines might have something to do with this entity, with these anomalies. Since we are about to approach Tholian space, would advise I would advise caution, but sorry, I'm just reading this as I go on.
Right.
All right. The Tholian ships apparently use or my bad, it's the Tholian ships' use of engines in the fractured space that had disrupted the timing of the interface for the Defiant. Dr. McCoy reported that the sickness is not due to an infectious agent. Instead, the fractures in space are damaging to the human nervous system.
Which was why, ironically, a Klingon nerve gas designed as a bioweapon was actually the perfect counteragent for it, as I understand it. Although, granted, my understanding of medical technology and terminology is woefully inadequate.
Apparently, the Klingons' medical expertise are better than we thought. I'm saying it jokingly.
So, if the use of engines caused a worsening or whatever of this spatial anomaly, how was the Enterprise able to extricate itself?
I am still reading this. But based off of what I've gotten from this, that's what I've heard from this so far.
Number one, you seem to have had an idea there.
Yes, sir. Apparently a static warp bubble will work and protect the ship. And please, sir, don't make me explain that in layman's terms.
No worries there, number one. How does that work out with Lieutenant Tanner's discovery about the use of engines in the face of a spatial anomaly like was encountered by Enterprise Defiant and apparently the whole planet of Tanium?
Based upon what I overheard from Lieutenant Tanner's, it was only the Tholian engines that caused a disruption in the time differential. And that's just based upon what I heard from the lieutenant. Perhaps Federation engines don't affect it?
I'm still going through the report from the Enterprise. I might have an answer for you soon.
GM, is what Tanner's reading from the write-up on Memory Alpha of the Tholian Web ep?
Yeah, I might be wrong on that too, but yeah.
The engines, like, because the area was interfaced, there was a distinct timing to the region of space when the Defiant was phasing in and out between the different universes, that the Tholian's engines caused the increase in the timing of the Defiant going between universes, essentially.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I did kind of worded it somewhat correct when I said it was the Tholian's engines that kind of.
Well, it also says that the Enterprise, I mean, Spock determined that the Enterprise could not expend any energy or it would damage the rift. So it was both ships. But that was in the point where Kirk and the Defiant were kind of phasing in and out from our dimension to the other one. So what we may is potentially what we may be dealing with, Haggard theorizes, is a much longer interphase period. It may be that 15 years ago, when the Juno disappeared, this is the first time it has reappeared. This may be the interphase period, in which case we need to get in, grab the Juno and survivors, if any, and get out as quickly as possible before they begin to shift back into the alternate universe. Alternately, it could just be they have been dumped back in this universe, but it is a possibility that when we get there, we're not going to have much time to pull the Juno or any survivors out. But hopefully, if we can get it before any kind of fading back into the other universe occurs, our warp field won't damage that process. But we need to be prepared to move quickly and surely. Do either of you see anything wrong with that theory?
Perhaps the usage of a tractor beam could possibly pull the ship away from the.
Yes, the first officer's already gotten that set up and detailed the particulars of the Juno's secondary section. What I'm asking is if either of you, Exo or Tanners, see any problems with my thinking there. If the particularly the fact that if the planet and wherever the distress signal is coming from is not currently in the process of phasing between two dimensions, then we'll be okay getting in there using a warp bubble to protect us and expending that energy. But that we have to be careful to get in, get out before that kind of interphase process begins. Do either of you see any flaws in my logic? I'm a passable engineer, but certainly no scientist, and certainly no trans-dimensional physicist.
It might work if the Tholians don't get involved, sir.
I see no issues on the engineering side, other than the Tholians possibly getting involved.
Because if the Tholians get involved, that will decrease our chances of getting the Juno before it disappears again. Because those engines would interrupt the cycle of the interfaces.
Okay, out of character. It's not the Tholian's engines in particular, because it was also the Enterprise couldn't risk expending any energy using its engines or anything, or the same thing would have happened. It's anybody expending that kind of energy while that interface process is going on that can muck it up. So it's not something particular about the Tholian engines. They just did it during a particular time when doing any kind of energy like that in that region of space would have screwed things up.
I thought it was the Tholians that had a particular engine that was just causing the rift.
Now, if you read towards the top of that Act 2, I think on the episode on Memory Alpha, it has that bit which I posted in the Discord about, however, the Enterprise must not expend any energy or the dimensional rift will be damaged. So the same rule kind of applied.
Makes sense.
Sorry, I was kind of confused.
No worries. So we have a defense mechanism against the gravitational eddies, or gravimetric eddies. We have serum ready to protect the crew and any survivors we might find from the neurological damage caused by these spatial anomalies. Tanner's is also working on a way to detect them quickly and accurately. We're ready with the tractor beam if need be. What else are we missing, gentlemen? Or what else are we missing, people?
I think that should be about it.
Haran, West, will want to be sure and drop out of warp well away from Taneum so we can make our way in carefully.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward the rest of the trip. You guys go down one momentum as there's a scene change here. And you guys tell me where you want to come out of warp at.
Definitely beyond the rings, like one of the corners.
Just ping where you want to come out of warp at.
Lower right.
Martel, considering that you, for what you rolled earlier, you essentially have an advantage, which traversing through here is going to lower the difficulty as you navigate around the eddies that are randomly popping and, disappearing.
All right.
So basically, the static warp bubble is already operational.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Red alert. Rig the ship for rough weather. Mr. Tanners, sharp eyes on the sensors. Haran and west. Look lively. Move us in. Slow and steady. Tanners, can you get a lock on the source of the distress signal?
Is there working now?
This will be added difficulty because of the range. So reason plus science, difficulty of 4. This is by the ship's sensors plus science.
Aye.
Keep in mind the difficulty reduced as you would get closer to the planet.
Yeah, if you want to wait.
Yeah, I think I'll wait. It's probably a better move. I think I'll just wait.
All right.
So
Get a little bit closer.
real quick, I'm sure you guys remember the days that when you navigated across the ion storm. It's a very similar principle. So there's unknown difficulties as you cross the rings. Essentially, the rings do give you sort of an advantage because you're actually able to see the gravimetric eddies on the view screen a lot easier coming to formation than around the actual planet, because technically the eddies are actually forming like this sphere bubble around the planet itself.
So if it's like the ion storm, this is going to be a lot of rolling for Haran and West, and actually their navigator and helmsman talents come in super handy. So why doesn't Shalette, why don't you grab one, and whoever else, probably Tanner's is going to be making some science rolls. So maybe Martel and Shalette should run the helms people.
Yeah, sounds good.
Which do you need me to grab?
If you want to grab, oh good grief, grab the ops officer. Oh good grief, not West, the other one.
Haran, she's the navigator. She's not really ops.
And I'll take the ship and be ready to throw determination at you guys, or to direct to help.
Okay, I got her.
Yeah.
And you'll probably be able to add something to Haran, if I'm not mistaken.
As soon as she rolls.
Yeah.
What's the roll?
Nothing yet. I need to know where you're going.
What do you think there, Captain?
Well, we have an advantage in the rings when it comes to detecting the gravimetric eddies. It's not necessarily a bad idea to do a circumnavigation along the plane of the rings to see if maybe we can come into range of the distress signal and get a lock on it, and then move in from there. But it's difficult to say. But if we stay in the plane of the rings, we'll have a better chance of detecting the eddies.
Be right back while you guys ponder that.
So if we just kind of take a trip around the planet in the rings as much as possible, although I figure we'll probably run into an eddy and have to pop in or pop out. But as we go around, hopefully we'll get closer to the source. And then once we kind of know that, we can move in from there. But
So basically a standard search pattern, starting outward and working our way in.
Yeah, but stay in the plane of the rings for as long as possible, because again, that gives us an advantage to detecting the anomalies. And then, as I recall, the artwork on the map did not necessarily have anything to do with how high the difficulty was. It sort of did. So when we have to maneuver in close to the planet, my guess would be to try and pick hexes which aren't or don't have much green in them. Assuming green is some sort of deadly radiation.
Agreed.
I'm back.
Yeah.
So what have you guys decided to do first?
Take us into the rings and begin a circumnavigation of the planet while staying in the orbit of the rings. Nice and slow and easy.
Which hex are you going to first?
N24.
There is no roll needed.
Okay.
Haran needs to make a reason plus con difficulty of 2, assisted by these ship's sensors plus con.
Okay, reason con. I'll take 1 momentum to activate cautious con and the extra die.
Before you roll, check on Pathfinder and push the limits.
Push the limits won't apply, but Pathfinder will. If I remember correctly.
So what will the new difficulty be?
It's up to you. You choose how much to lower it, but for every number that you're lowering it, you're raising the complication range by that much. So it's your call.
Okay. What is the difficulty right now?
Currently, the difficulty is unknown.
Oh.
It's going to be random, essentially. Well, not random. I know what the difficulty is because I have little stickers.
I'll say we'll lower it by 2 and increase the complication by 2.
So complication range is going to be 3.
Okay. Like I said, momentum, cautious con. Here we go. Any focus that would apply to this?
Astro navigation.
Okay, so I'll put that yes, and here we go. Maybe. There we go.
Oh.
Difficulty of 2, so you just get it. The next task you're going to lower the difficulty by 4.
Did you want to re-roll one of the zeros or not risk it?
Since the complication is so high, I'm gonna say no. Seeing as how we made it.
Keep in mind, Tanners, you're detecting gravimetric eddies all throughout the rings.
Sir, I'm detecting gravimetric eddies all throughout the ring, sir.
Coordinate your sensor data with Lieutenants Haran and West.
Aye, sir. I'll
Careful as she goes.
I'll send the data over to the helm.
Alright, which hex?
M23.
I need a daring plus con difficulty of 0, assisted by the ship's engines plus con.
Okay, since it's diff 0, I'm just going to roll this flat.
Come on, complications.
Huh.
One float. You're max with one float. You'll have to make the navigation check again as you move into the next square. So be reason con difficulty of 2, assisted by the ship's sensors plus con. If you're trying to lower the difficulty even further, I need to know what complication range you're wanting to go to.
Okay, we'll do it by 2 again.
So comp 3, both the
Okay.
ship and the roll.
Got it.
I will use 1 point of momentum again for cautious con. And I will re-roll that 1.
You get the momentum back. Which hex are you wanting to go into?
Which one are you thinking, Captain? L22, L24?
I'm
Did you
kind
want me
of
to
leaning
take the-
towards L22 just because it gets us a little bit closer to be able to scan towards the planet and decreases the
Yeah.
range of our scan some, but we'll see. That, like I say, it's hard to know without knowing what the diff is.
Yeah. So here.
Daring con difficulty of 1. This is for the ship's engines plus con.
Okay. Well, I can't use that. Okay.
The threat is to up the difficulty by 1.
Right. Well, you can have one of those back because I've got both con.
Because you're effectively at with that, it's literally like you're learning difficulty by 5. So
Right. Oh, I get that reroll. Come on, computer.
you do have 2 float.
I think that's time to make an advantage then.
Perhaps as we continue navigating this, we start to put together some sort of computer algorithm or machine learning to predict some of the patterns of the local space.
Or if you won't let us go that far, we're in a particularly thick band of ring dust, and so it'll decrease the navigation roll by 1 the next time, because the dust is letting us, since it's particularly thick, detect things better.
Keep in mind there's still a complication on the table until the reroll comes through.
Oh yeah.
It should have just come through.
Just a little laggy McLag.
It actually
Yeah.
dropped you from the game.
Oh, crud. Well, then I got to refresh.
There it goes.
Oh, good.
Okay, so it's cleared. So there's 3 float. I will tell you this with the advantage. I will tell you that the current orbit, if you're going this way is very treacherous.
Does it change much if we like slide over a hex and go around a little bit more on the outside, or
It seems to get. I'll give this to like the advantage. It seems to get easier as you get closer to the planet.
Well, there goes my theory. Take us in closer to the planet, lieutenants.
Plotting
Aye,
a course
sir.
now.
Reason con difficulty 2. I need to know what the comp percent at. It says by the ship's sensors con.
Okay. 1 momentum for cautious con. I will keep at the 2 for complication 3.
Okay.
And here we go. Up. Let me roll the other 2. Oh my god. Well, I guess let me re-roll that 1.
Still need the ship. Got it. Which way are you going?
K21.
He's moving slowly to the left.
It's like
Oh.
NASCAR, only slower.
I was going for reference for Family Guy. Darren, difficulty 0. System of the ship's engines con. Curse that -4. You gain a momentum, and there is a complication.
Does she have technical expertise, or is that
That-
Haran?
That will not apply because it's engines
That
con.
was,
Oh,
yeah, I
right.
don't have technical expertise, so
That's okay. We have momentums.
yeah.
And 1 gain, because that was 0.
So you're spending
Okay.
a momentum and the one that gained into squash.
Correct.
Okay. You are near the actual radiation cloud. Do you wish to scan it?
Yes, please.
Reason science difficulty of 1, assisted by the ship's sensors plus science.
Mr. Tanner, you there?
Tanners, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. What's up?
You can
Gotcha.
scan the radiation cloud now. It's reason science. I don't know what the
Difficulty of
difficulty.
1.
Well, okay. Sorry, I was reading an article and got distracted. Actually, I was reading that little thing you gave me about on Memory Alpha. Reason science?
Yes, difficulty 1, assisted by the ship's sensors plus science.
And we have 4 momentum if you want to use any. Oh, ship's not doing real well.
Of course, the ship is never doing well.
Dude, that's totally not true. Doesn't do well for you because you bitch about it.
What do you wish to do about the complication?
We don't have enough momentum to squash it.
I squash it with 2.
Right, you're down to 0 momentum.
No, we had 4 and I spent 2. And then we have 2 left.
there's 2 complications, one for the engines, one for sensors. So that's total 4 momentum. I'm confused.
No, the engines was the was West Troll. We already spent for that, which brought us down to 4, and then I spent 2 more for the sensors science complication, which brought us down to 2. So I've spent a total of 4.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just deleting them pretty much as soon as I throw them out.
Radiation cloud is made up of metaphasic radiation and gravimetric radiation, sir.
Metaphasic?
Yes, sir. Metaphasic radiation and gravimetric radiation.
What exactly are the effects of those 2 types of radiations, Mr. Tanners?
Do my character know on the top of his head?
Oh, yeah, I thought that was metaphasic. Oh, you bastard.
Sir, the metaphasic radiation is somewhat newly discovered, but appears to increase the metabolism of most humanoid species. Gravimetric radiation, however, is very dangerous byproduct of fast-moving gravitons. And gravimetric radiation is pulled towards the rings. Being pulled towards the rings.
So, we need to avoid the gravimetric at all costs, and probably the metaphasic as well. Bridge to Dr. Shallot. Oh, wait,
Go
Shallot's
ahead.
not here. Oh, he is here. Ha! What are the dangers to the crew from metaphasic radiation?
They'll probably get the munchies, sir.
Lieutenant Tanners tells me that it increases the metabolism.
Yeah, so they'll probably not get any fatter from it, so that's good.
Is there any dangers to exposure to metaphasic radiation that we should be aware of?
Let me check my database just to be sure on this.
I'll give it to you, Doctor.
To be honest, crew could actually probably use a good dose of it. Preliminary studies seem to suggest that increases metabolism, it gives better cell rejuvenation. We probably all look like we just came from a great vacation.
What about gravimetric radiation? Tanners tells me it can be dangerous. Do you have any way to protect the crew from its effects?
Well, that's a different story there, Captain. That's some nasty stuff there. I'm checking right now to see if there's anything I can do for the crew on that, but like I said, it's not pretty. No, there's nothing I can do for that.
Well, we'll have to hope that our shielding holds up. Number one, can you beef up radiation shielding while maintaining the static warp field?
Well, sir, there's not much that I can probably do against the gravimetric radiation. Metaphasic radiation, I don't even see why to do anything with it. So, I don't know, sir.
All right. West Haran, it seems to me then our wisest course is to move closer to the planet since the gravimetric radiation seems to be pulling into the rings. Try to keep us out of the worst of the gravimetric. Don't worry over much about the metaphasic. Tanners, are we any closer to being able to lock on to the distress signal?
That will be a difficulty 3 roll.
For reasons I have.
Yep. You want to go here?
Yeah, that would be my suggestion.
There's no roll.
Say 20.
'cause all the advantages you have, there's no roll.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Do you want to try the difficulty 3 roll or wait? Tanners.
I think I'll wait on that because I don't want because I want to be cautious here. I don't want to give them too much threat, and we're kind of low on momentum anyway.
Okay.
Reason science difficulty of 1. Or sorry, not 1. Difficulty 2. Sorry. Says by the ship's sensors plus science.
I think I can make that roll.
Go on ahead and take momentum if you want to.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll take one momentum for 3 dice. And I'm using sensor operations as a focus. Or astrophysics.
Yes. Sensor operations. You are worried. 4 momentum gained.
Finally, the ship cooperates for once.
See? And now it's not for your next 6 rolls because you did that. See? You should praise the ship, not castigate the ship. That's how the universe works. Do not anger the ship.
Never had those problems on my past ships.
So now you're just asking for it. Ship protects you from the depths of space, from radiation, from disruptor bolts. You're going to get all uppity? Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I'll give the ship one last chance.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the shade coming from the guy who can't roll a challenge dice to save his life.
You do need to roll 1, though, by the way, because you spent momentum.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
At least the challenge dice doesn't give us complications, unlike the ship.
Man, Chip's not even going to roll for you anymore. All of your consoles go dark.
Sir, we have found. I have found the star drive section of the Juno. It seems to be embedded into a mountain, some kind of mountain terrain on the surface. One of the nacelles is scattered into pieces near the star drive. However, the other nacelle is, well, somewhere else on the planet. We don't know where, I'm afraid. Or wait, honestly. The other nacelle is several hundred kilometers away from the crash site. I do, however, pick up 12 life signs near at the site of the crash.
Haggard to transporter room. Can you get a lock on the life signs below?
I'm afraid I can't get a lock, Captain. Something's scattering all the transporter buffer signal. I can see them.
Understood.
It won't lock on.
Understood.
Or perhaps the radiation's causing that.
Tanner's the Class M classification of the planet holds true.
It's a Class M planet, sir. Yes, sir. It's a Class M planet.
"12 life signs, you say?"
Yes, sir. They're all at the site of the crash.
Number one, we're going to need to take 2 shuttles down. That'll be enough to get 12 people between the 2 of them, right, GM?
So it's 6 passengers, I think. Is that right? 6 or 8?
Yeah. I'm assuming that you can jam in 1 or 2 extra for a short period of time.
Probably.
Captain, these survivors might have been affected by that disease that the Defiant encountered.
Good thinking, Tanners. Number one, we're going to need GM, what is the capacity of the shuttles we're using? Is it
Total of 8, so 1 to 2 pilots.
okay?
6 passengers.
All right. Number one, we're going to need security officers in each shuttle to protect the pilot and, if necessary, subdue any resistance. Crap, we don't really have enough. What's your medicine score, Martel?
We're talking a 2.
That's better than Shishran's.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 14 for me if I roll control in medicine, so.
Okay.
How about we just send Harmon down? Oh, wait, that's right. He's not here.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me check a couple things.
How's Kazuva?
What's West looking like?
In medicine scores 2 as well. I'm not very good.
Yeah, rolling a 12 on Kazuva.
GM will say the rest of the stuff takes place on the planet's surface.
Okay.
Okay, so.
My medical school score is pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. We need to find a balance of security and medical, because our 2 best pilots are West and Haran when it comes to small craft.
Yeah.
West has a 14 control medicine.
And actually, Shishran is not a terrible pilot either, and she's got small craft as a focus. So she's rolling a 13 daring, so she could do double duty as pilot and
security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My character does have a con rating of 3.
What's your control and daring?
Control is 11. Daring is a 9.
Shishran has you beat piloting wise.
Yeah.
So right, West and Lieutenant Shishran will pilot the shuttles. Dr. Shallot, you'll accompany the away team. I wish they held more people and we'd just all go.
Well, I can take my main for that too.
Well, and Haggard's rolling a 13 to fly, so he's not terrible. So, okay. Who else has got a decent con score?
I think it's Shishran and West.
Well, I
for
mean, the GM
pilot.
has told us there's the rest of the adventure is basically on the ground. So I'm figuring maybe Haggard and Tanners can pilot because we've both got
Okay.
cons of 3. And we can spend resources as necessary to save everybody else's butts. And then Shallot and Martel can come along for medical and security.
Okay.
And Martel, you go with Tanners because Haggard is at least okay with security stuff.
Tanner's is very happy. He doesn't have to go onto a transporter.
So yeah, GM, that's what we'll do. Haggard will pilot one shuttle. Tanners will pilot the other. Shallot will travel with the captain, and the XO will travel with Tanners, and we'll have the doctor bringing all sorts of hypo sprays.
It's what he does best.
All right, so you load up the 2 shuttles.
Have West and Haran keep us in a safe orbit, geosync if they can manage it, but protect the ship, and we'll leave. Dun dun dun! Chitray in command.
It's his time to shine.
It is.
Yeah, Martel's not even gonna riddle you with Starfleet regulations concerning the captain and XO both being off ship.
That's good, because we're still not in the next generation era. So
What is Lazos's con rating, or unless she is no longer on board the ship?
She is no longer on board the ship.
Never mind. 'Cause I was thinking perhaps we could have taken her, but oh well.
well, and just metagaming a little bit this way, we all take our main characters. So
Out of curiosity, was that regulation even around at this point, or did that come
It
later
is.
on?
Yeah, it is around. It's just that Captain Picard and completely ignored it all the time.
No, Kirk ignored
mean
it
Kirk?
all the time.
Kirk, yeah, Kirk
Riker-
ignored it all the time. So
Riker
yeah.
couldn't enforce the whole thing.
Yeah. Riker did enforce it.
Haggard goes about half and half.
I just need a daring con difficulty of 1. Assisted by the shuttle's engines con.
I'll use a momentum for a 3rd die for Captain Haggard.
Well,
No
seeing as
focus.
how Dr. Shallot is all about regulations, he would probably mention something to the order of, "Oh, I'm surprised to see you here, Captain."
Yes. As the doctor enters the shuttle and Haggard takes it off and begins heading towards the end of the shuttle bay. Better strap in, Doctor. Engines con. There it is.
Would I be able to assist you on that roll?
Nope, you're in a different shuttle.
You're in a different shuttle, but you have to make the same roll. Daring con.
Make the same roll too.
Yep. We do have 5 momentum. Feel free to spend it if you want.
What's the difficulty?
1.
Oh, okay. Do I have a focus for this or no?
Do you have small
Do you
craft?
Yeah.
Small craft? Oh, in that case, no.
I just need the shuttlecraft roll for engines con. Hey, get a momentum out of it.
I'm happy with a shuttlecraft, not the ship.
Yeah, you're lucky with the shuttlecraft. The shuttlecraft is rolling a 7.
The little ship that could.
That is the wrong map, by the way, guys. Just FYI.
Fleet ship though.
that is the wrong map. I apologize.
Oh my!
Expect us in our tiny shuttles to go up against the entire fleet?
Complete with autoplay. I love that. It's a bunch of evil looking ships. And the danger music.
GM, I want you to know I've been triggered.
Okay. The two both shuttles navigate down and land safely just outside of where the crash site is currently at. On the way down, you see that the star drive section of a non-refit Constitution class starship embedded into essentially the side of a mountain, practically. It's sort of dug in and probably skirt across the ground for several kilometers. The deflector dish is kind of bent off and dug elsewhere near the crash site. A lot of the hull plating is missing from the star drive section, and it's in a way almost a miracle that someone survived.
When to land the shuttles, Haggard will pull out the communicator. This is Captain Ulysses Haggard of the USS Argo to Juno survivors. Do you read? All right. Well, Doctor, looks like we're going to have to go out and find them.
Indeed, but we need to get there quick. Who knows how bad they're doing right now.
We need to get them off this planet quick. So we get out. Can we get a lock on their life signs with your tricorders?
Reason, science, or medicine difficulty of 2.
Well, you want me to make the roll? Science, reason science.
I can do it as well, as soon as roll 20 loads back up.
Okay, I'll make the roll.
Okay.
Diff 2, and we do have 6 momentum, so.
Okay, I'll spend 1 momentum for 3 dice. I need to go very, very soon because I need to grab dinner, but I'll still be in the Discord. Can I use operations as focus or no?
Be biology, because that's what you're scanning for.
I don't have biology, so I'll just say no.
Get momentum back and 1 challenge dice.
Of course. All right. See you guys in a bit.
Tanners points out that there is life signs just up ahead. They all to be assembled in a group inside the actual Star Drive section of the Juno.
All right, everyone. Phasers on heavy stun.
Captain, you know I won't fire on anyone.
Well then, Doctor, if a fight does break out, I suggest you get behind me.
Or at least have a tranquilizer loaded up. All right, gentlemen, let's go.
I need everyone to make fitness security checks. Difficulty 1, as you're it's somewhat rough terrain because of all the rock and debris that's around as you're making your way towards the life sign signals.
You said fitness security?
Yes, difficulty 1. There's a float.
I'll take the momentum.
Another float.
I'll take that float. Ha ha!
I will get that in a minute. I'll go ahead and I'll roll for Tanners.
I'll quash the complication.
Okay.
Just
He's
take the
rolling
zeros.
10.
Hey, it's only one less than me.
Let's have survival. Do you guys mind if you for a momentum? So
No, go ahead.
Character.
He's got one more point than I do.
You get it back. Take 3 stress, Captain.
Gotcha.
Kind of sprained your ankle a little bit.
Let me take a look at that, Captain.
I'm fine for the moment, Doctor. Let's get these people back up to the ship. I'll feel a lot better once we're off this planet.
Very well, but I want to see you in sickbay when we get back up there.
Yes.
You make your way to what appears to be on the side one of the docking hatches. It does appear to be jarred open.
Haggard will make his way to the open door and yell in, "Hello, the ship! This is Captain Haggard of the Argo. We've got some shuttles to get you off this rock." I look back at everybody and shrug and step in. Phaser ready.
Sorry, 1 second.
Sure.
I'm actually kind of mad at myself, I think. I may have deleted something I didn't want to delete.
I can just imagine Martel when the captain sprained his ankle. And this is why Regulation 14, Section 12, Paragraph 4 exists.
Okay, as you venture deeper inside, you see some searchlights heading towards you.
Hello! We're from the Argo.
And two individuals appearing in TOS red have their old type two phasers kind of drawn pointers like, never heard of the Argo.
I'm Captain Ulysses Haggard. This is my first officer, Commander Martell, our chief medical officer, Dr. Shallot, and my chief science officer, Lieutenant Tanners. Transporters aren't going to work through the atmosphere. We've brought 2 shuttles down to get you and your people out of here. We need to go.
And coming down the hall, someone you recognize.
Admiral West.
Ulysses Haggard.
Good to see you again.
Likewise, I never thought I would ever really get to see you. She kind of points, drop your weapons.
And Haggard will holster his. We weren't able, my ship's in orbit above us. We couldn't beam down because of the radiation interference, but we've got 2 shuttles. Should be enough to get you and your people off. But we need to move before the spatial anomaly potentially takes effect again.
GM, do I sense any malice or anything like that?
No. More like puzzlement. Lucy, sorry, Captain Haggard. How long has it been since we've been missing?
Right about 15 years.
It's hard to fathom.
Our working theory is that that you're experiencing the same kind of interphase anomaly that Captain Kirk and the Defiant experienced, only your phase period is much longer. It might have something to do with the sheer mass of the planet. When you separated the saucer from the Juno, the engineering hull and the entire planet were swallowed by an anomaly.
Kind of just nods for a second. That makes sense. Doesn't seem, honestly. I'm not really sure what to make of this place.
Neither am I, and Lord knows temporal mechanics is not a specialty of mine or interdimensional interphase. But I do know that if we're caught in an interphase moment, my ship's not going to be able to get us out of here and could lose all of us. So we need to get you and your people out of here soonest.
Right.
Begging the Admiral's pardon.
Of course, you're right. We need to move. Let's gather the others.
And I take West aside and kind of low voice says, have you had any incidents of the neurological damage and violence that Dr. McCoy reported from the Enterprise and Defiant incident?
No. One of the scientists theorized the radiation cloud might be detecting us somehow.
Well, it's lucky for you guys. Just in case my doctor's got serum that should alleviate any effects. Enough for my crew and yours. Are 12 all that's left?
Yes, there was more that survived, but we're not alone here.
What's that?
We're not alone here. There are others on this planet.
Hostile, I take it?
Let's just say they look like us, wear the same uniform.
Number one, we've got hostiles. Humanoid, apparently in our same uniforms.
Okay, awkward.
Are they just imitating us, or are they actually Starfleet personnel who have just mutiny type situation?
I look at the Admiral.
It's a theory, right? But she kind of motions she wants to talk to you in private.
Okay, I'll go with her. Help get the Admiral's people onto the shuttles and keep an eye out.
Understood, sir.
And still no malice, correct?
There's no malice, no.
Okay.
More like concerned and like ready to get out of this hellhole. What do you know of the mirror universe?
Okay, does that trigger a headache?
I'll spend threat. Fitness medicine difficulty of 2.
I'm rolling a 9. Tell you what, I will give you a momentum for a 3rd die, just for fun. Ah!
Get it back, and you do kind of recall the memories of your dealings with the whole mirror universe debacle.
Ah!
And Jensen.
Kind of pinch the bridge of my nose. Yes, I remember now. I've had dealings with them before. Nasty bunch.
Well, they're here.
Then we've got to move even faster.
To be honest, when we, I guess, disappeared or passed through the dimensional barrier, the only thing I can guess at is we crossed over into the mirror universe somehow. I don't know the exact science behind it. All I know is this radiation or whatever it's called is doing wonderfuls for my skin.
Metaphasic apparently helps with the metabolism.
Oh, that's why we're hungry all the time.
So, the mirror operatives, are they? Were they here already? Did they come to investigate your crash, or do they have a ship? Or do you know?
I can't tell you that, but they arrived shortly after the sun came back.
Arrived shortly after the sun came back. On any event, let's get your people to our shuttles. These mirror universe dressed in your uniforms?
Not exactly.
Hmm. Well, we'll have a chance to catch up on board the Argo, and there's someone there who will very much like to meet you.
She raises an eyebrow like,
You have a great-granddaughter who's turned out to be one hell of a helmsman.
she takes after the best.
Hmm. So yeah, let's hustle back to the shuttles. Phaser's out to keep a sharp lookout. Any of her people injured?
Surprisingly, no.
Hmm.
As everyone kind of gathers up and you start heading out of the the hatch to the Juno,
Right.
you start storms start brewing as the clouds begin to darken and lightning besiege the skyline. This is not good.
How bad's this likely to get?
Worse.
How many minutes away are we over the rough terrain?
15.
Our shuttles are about 15 minutes away over some pretty rough terrain. Do you think we can make it for the weather hits?
I'm not sure on that. Luisi's, this is gonna get a lot worse. We're about to switch to the different plane.
All right, then we've got no choice. We've got to move. Martel, Tanners, Shallot. We're about to enter an interface. We've got to go now. Storm or no storm. Everybody move out. Make as good of a time as you can.
Roger. Doctor acknowledging.
I need everybody to make fitness plus security difficulty of 2.
Martel, I think you're probably the best. Spend some momentum maybe and get us some, because I'll need it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Definitely give you. Oh, why not? 1 momentum, 2 threat, and I'll roll 4 dice. As soon as my computer decides that it likes being connected to the game. Oh, well. Oops.
I don't know what you're seeing, but it doesn't sound good.
No.
We
no.
can't see it.
Might have to reconnect.
It's my internet connection. Give it a minute. I've got only 1 success. So.
Well, I think that was all you needed, right? It was diff 1, right?
Diff 2.
No, diff 2.
Oh.
Because you're hustling.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure something out. But I don't think I have anything to re-roll that with.
Any
Nope.
values?
I mean, I've got values, but they're all dealing with technology, basically. And people, but... Yeah, I don't have any values that I could challenge.
Okay.
Well, if the damage is the same, it was 3 challenge dice.
Yeah, I'm thinking this one might be higher.
All right.
Is
I'll
the
go
roll
ahead
going
and
to stand before you roll?
Roll's gonna have to stand for me.
Take 5 stretches. A bolt of lightning strikes where you're at, sending
Oh.
you flying onto the ground.
Martel!
Yikes.
I will head over towards him. Try
Can
to.
I spend 2 momentum to avoid the injury, please?
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
fine, Doctor. Go!
Okay. I guess I'll use the last momentum to get the extra die.
Take 4 stress as debris, as lightning strikes are just smashing the ground, and rock chunks are hitting you as you're running.
Ow.
Well, take 3 threat for 4 dice.
Gain 2 momentum. And you
That's good.
zigzag through the essentially minefield at this point, as lightning strikes are randomly hitting the ground around you.
Keep moving, everyone!
Good job, West. Good job. Still got it.
And Tanners can use whatever momentum. I think you said he was rolling low.
I think he's still AFK. So, I guess 3 dice. Oh, that's 2 stress. It's getting showered with rocks. And the fun part. I gotta roll 12 times.
Or just one roll to represent the group.
I'll do that, but none of them make that, so
Oh no!
Yeah, 4 isn't horrible.
many of them are injured heavily as they're dashing across the land minefield, and as you make it to the shuttles and start boarding, the sky darkens a heavy dark, and your communicator starts to chirp.
Haggard here!
Captain, it appears that we're entering the interphasic stages.
We know! We're at the shuttles now. We're just about to take off. As soon as we're back aboard, prepare to get us the hell out of here. So yeah, once everybody's on board, I'll head to the pilot's seat and get us back to the ship. Pronto. That's like 8 threat you just spent, man.
It is.
That doesn't seem hardly fair.
It's because it's 2 separate rolls. Daring con difficulty of 5.
Jeez.
Says it by the ship's engines con.
Okay, definitely the time for determination. Spend a determination either on we make the future ourselves every day, because getting us out of here using this daring task is me trying to make the future for me and the doctor and everybody on this shuttle, or fortune favors the bold.
I will take fortune favors the bold.
Yeah, good enough.
You're
Okay,
about to fly through probably torrential hurricane.
Okay, that works too. So difficulty 5, so there's 2. I need 3 more.
Can I send him telepathic happy thoughts to encourage him to do well?
Haha! Got the determination back. Always handy. Tanner's is not rolling as well as I do, but let's see what I can do here. I'll spend that momentum and 4 threat for 4 dice on top of the. Is that right? 2 for the third.
You just need to give me 3.
Okay, yeah. So, sorry. Okay, let's see what we can do. Daring Con. Made it. Dang it, ship.
Let's go with the other shuttle real quick.
Do you want to roll Tanner's, or you want one of us to?
Probably better let me roll it, I guess, because that way he can blame me.
Okay.
Because this is not going to go well for him if he fails. I think Martel's in there with Tanner's, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You might have to use your exo superpower.
I will let him spend his determination. How many dice is he going to roll?
What's he rolling?
Oh, he's rolling a 12.
So he's already got 2. He needs to make 3 more. So I'd say give you the 5 threat so you can roll 4 dice.
Okay. Back up at 10 again.
Oh no.
Martel, do you want to maybe direct him? No, never mind.
Well, at least it's not a complication from our shuttle. Does he have technical expertise?
That
Won't matter.
apply.
Oh, computer's expensive.
He is a former initiate, so he can re-roll those 2 dice.
Ah, nice. Nice.
You got it.
2 momentum, I think.
Yes, 2 momentum gained. There's the complication though.
Let's
For
spin those 2
your
momentum.
shuttle, Captain. Yeah, for your show.
Yeah. With me, it wasn't the it wasn't the shuttle. It wasn't the pilot. It was the shuttle.
Both shuttles make it through. Multiple lightning strikes on the shuttlecraft, and you can literally hear circuitry frying inside the Class F shuttlecraft.
Everyone, hang on!
As you break Atmo, and you head towards the Argo shuttle bay.
Where did you learn to fly?
The same place you learned to shoot.
We're never gonna make it.
As you're getting ready to dock on the actual Argo, I need everybody to make fitness medicine difficulty 1.
All right. Shame we don't have momentum. I'll give you a threat for extra doohickey. Of course.
I'm guessing this is a fairly important role.
Be stress. It is. Doctor, you have a really bad headache.
So I've got my determination back, so I'd like to spend that. I don't know if any of my values will apply or if the mission directive will apply. You'll have to tell me since I'm not exactly sure what I'm rolling against.
Not the mission director is not going to apply here.
Okay. What about my values?
I'll take the last one.
Okay. So I'll spend my determination there and then just roll flat. It was diff 2, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so I've already got the 2. So, yeah. Okay. I made it.
Oh,
Gained 1 momentum. Martel.
yeah. I'm gonna wind up spending that momentum.
Yeah.
I gotta spend that momentum there, Haggard,
Okay. That's fine.
because this is terrible.
No, it's fine, dude. Don't worry about it. Am I in communication with the other shuttle? Oh, you made it. Nice.
You,
I made it.
you are, but there's a bunch of interference.
Fair.
So 2 momentum is gained. As you guys give me Tanner's any dice.
Um,
Rolling a 9.
I'll give him my determination if I can, since we're technically in communication.
I will tell you right now, he does not have a
value that will work.
yeah.
Yeah, so much for that. Yeah, he can have all the momentum if he needs it. All 2 of it.
We'll just have him spend 1. Gets it back. So he's fine. Doctor has a splitting headache, and then Nora needs to roll.
She can have momentum if she wants.
Okay. Guys gained 2 from her. And
So she take it.
now for the lot of the other 11 survivors.
They can have momentum if they want.
Gain the
Well.
momentum back.
Nice.
I am back.
Missed all the fun.
What?
You didn't die.
Okay, well, good.
Nearly died.
Yes, but you weren't the only one.
So by the way, stress has not cleared yet, Doctor. Though you do have a splitting headache. As you guys board the Argo, you notice that you no longer see the stars.
Okay.
What happened? How did I almost die?
We're aboard, Mr. Chatray. Get us out of here. And I will limp run for the bridge.
Yeah, and Martel's in a flat out sprint.
As you head towards the bridge, Trey walks away. He's like, it kind of looks at you in horror for an Illusian. Captain, there's nothing to warp to.
What's that?
We are caught in some sort of interdimensional rift.
Bum, bum, bum.
And with that, this will be to be continued.
Called it, Captain.
Yeah.
Then.